Hey guys, welcome to another online class. Today I'm going to be mostly talking. It will be similar to what I did for Muay Thai yesterday. So if you're here for the class for Muay Thai, I explained some beginner tips for sparring in Muay Thai. I'm going to do a very similar thing for Jiu-Jitsu today. So tips to know before your first class, or maybe you've just joined and you've just trained your first class, some important tips to know. I find this very useful because a lot of this stuff I wasn't really explained to, but it's very useful knowledge to have. So let's start off with, so if you haven't joined a class yet and you are interested in joining a class, this is what to bring when you do come to your first class. So in Jiu-Jitsu there's two main types. There's gi, which means the uniform. You wear the uniform so you can choke each other out with the material. And there's also no gi, which means you just wear a t-shirt and shorts basically. So we offer both types. When you come to your first class, it's mainly a fundamentals class, which is a gi class, but if you're just starting off, you don't have to buy a gi straight away. You can just come in for your first class with, I recommend t-shirt and shorts, just something you can get sweaty in, and maybe have your shirt, a bit older shirt that you don't really wear out, because I see a lot of beginners, they come in and they get their shirt or singlet ripped. So just make sure you bring something old you can get really sweaty in, because it's going to be a good workout when you do come in. So that's what to wear. What to bring also is flip-flops. I will explain this. This will be tied into the next point too, but bring some thongs. You can also bring a change of clothes if you want. Most gyms these days have showers, so if you want to shower, you can have a change of clothes. If you don't shower, bring a change of clothes anyway, because you don't want to be sitting in your car all sweaty. That was a big thing that I didn't like. So bring a change of clothes. And then lastly, bring a lot of water, because you're going to be sweating a lot. Okay, so that's what to bring in your first class. Moving on is class etiquette. So a lot of these things are on our mat rules, which is posted up in our gym on the wall, but not everyone reads that and not everyone knows all these rules, so I'll just quickly go over them in this next point. So number one, be clean. So if you do have a gi, make sure it's always washed. I didn't know this when I first started. Sometimes you only have one gi and you want to train more than once a day. In fact, I used to, back when I was a white belt, this is like 2007, 2008, sometimes I would want to train twice a day, but I just didn't have enough gis, so I would wear the same gi to both classes. Okay, that's a big no-no. That wasn't explained to me when I first started, so don't do it. The reason being, first, it's not nice to your training partners, because you might be stinky. The gi still might be sweaty and stinky. If it has dried, it still may not stink, but it can harbor germs, nasty germs, so you don't want that. So two big things I didn't learn about until I actually got it was, it's called ringworm and staph. So they're probably the two most common things you can get whilst training. So ringworm is like a fungal infection on the skin. If you keep wearing the same dirty gear, you can get it. So that's the main reason, wash your gear, keep clean, and shower. Staph is more when you get a cut and you get infected. So it ties on to the theme of being clean as well. What else? Oh yeah, so in the first point I mentioned what to bring is bring thongs or flip-flops. One thing you don't want to do is be barefoot in the toilet. Because you are barefoot on the mats, You don't want to go to the toilet barefoot. Who knows what's in the toilet floor. And then you bring it back on the mats. Because when you're wrestling, your face is going to be on the floor. You don't want whatever's in the toilet to be transferred here and your face being on it. So make sure when you go to the toilet, wear some shoes. That's why I bring thongs to class. That way it's easier to come on and off the mats. Also have your nails trimmed. That's one big thing that's not really explained to you either, but a lot of people don't do. So make sure you have your nails cut. Nails are long, it's very likely that you may scratch and cut your partner open, and then that leads to possible staph. So make sure your nails are trimmed. What else we got? Also for etiquette, this also wasn't really explained to me when I first joined, is how to come on and off the mats. We are not very tight here on bowing. Bowing is not a big thing here. We do bow in and off, bow in and out as a group during the class. Most schools will do that either before or after, and then usually it will be lined up in rank. So it will either be in a big circle, a big square, or some classes, some clubs, they line up in actual like lines. Okay, it will always be in rank though. That's one major thing, it's always in rank. So when you do come to your first class, make sure you line up in the appropriate rank, so you'll be with the white belts. Also, in regards to etiquette, how do you address the coach? So do you say their name, or do you say coach, or do you say professor? It depends on the gym really. Our gym, remember, it's lax, so you just address us by our first names. Hey Billy, hey Wade, hey Andrew. You don't have to call us sensei or professor, but some schools they actually make you do that, so just be aware of that. Most people will be very welcoming and everyone just goes by their first name. Some people have nicknames too. So that's pretty much everything in point 2 about etiquette. Oh, one big thing, also, I was never shown how to tie my belt. So Andrew released the video last week. He showed 3 ways on how to tie a belt. So if you don't know how you tie a belt, go see Andrew's video from last week. All right, point number 3. Do you need to be in shape, or do you need any previous experience before you start Jiu-Jitsu? No and no. Jiu-Jitsu will get you in shape. If you train Jiu-Jitsu, you get very fit. And Jiu-Jitsu is completely different fitness. Even if you do a lot of running, a lot of weights, when you come to a Jiu-Jitsu class, you will figure out you'll still get very tired, because it's just a different type of fitness that you're not used to. So you don't need experience, don't need previous fitness, just come to the class. Jiu-Jitsu will get you fit. So rash guard under gi is not compulsory. Some clubs actually make you have to wear rash guard under the gi. Some clubs even make you only wear like 1 or 2 colors in their club. Once again, at our place, at our gym, you can wear whatever color you want. It's up to you. You can wear whatever brand you want. Yeah, rash guard under the gi is not really compulsory. In winter, I suggest you wear it because it's very cold, but it's not necessary. All right, yes, that was another big thing, gi pants. All right. So that's another big thing that's not really explained in Jiu-Jitsu, how to actually put on your gi pants. So when you put the string's always like extreme. So my pants always used to fall off in wrestling back in the day because I didn't really know how to put my pants on properly. So see how it's loose? The strings are long, you gotta pull it out this way. It tightens it. Okay, as Andrew said in his gi belt video, put the string in the loops in front of you. And then the knot is completely up to you. So the way I do the knot is just like a shoelace kind of. Yeah, I pretty much just do the knot like a shoelace, and I put the excess in the loops so it doesn't come out during wrestling. And this method has served me well. My pants no longer fall off during wrestling. Okay, nice and tight. That's how you do your gi pants. Competition and class training. So we'll ask, how should your gi fit? So in competition, I'll explain in competition and class. Because competition, there's actually like specific measurements that need to be made for you to be allowed to compete. If you don't make those measurements or rules, they make you get another gi or you're disqualified. So the main things they look for in competition is sleeve and pants length. Okay, your sleeve, I don't know the exact measurement, but it's around here. This is probably legal. If your gi length here is like this short, they're not going to allow you to compete. Even if it's like this is probably not legal either. Whereas in class, this is like okay. I won't suggest this for class. So class and comp is kind of two different things. Also pants, same idea. They don't want your pants to be like this. That's illegal. This is probably legal. And during class, it's pretty much whatever you find what fits you and what feels the best. Okay, you don't want too loose. You don't want too tight. Something in the middle. So this I find quite comfortable. So basically your own comfort. And in comp, there's also patches. So if your patch is like half coming off, they tell you to rip it off. So yeah, so your gi should fit not too long, not too short, just the right length, and not too tight. Make sure it's loose, breathable, comfortable.
Gi length by IBJJF, it must be less than 5 centimeters away from the wrist. And
5 centimeters, there you go.
From the ankle bone as well. So
5 centimeters. Those are the rules in comp, but in class doesn't really matter because you're just training. Alright, next, when you come to your first class, most gyms will allow you to roll. Not every gym, but most gyms in your first class you will roll. If you don't know what rolling is basically sparring. Rolling is another word for sparring in Jiu-Jitsu. The main difference when we spar in Jiu-Jitsu is there's no striking compared to Muay Thai, but you can go 100% and not hurt your partner. That's the main difference. In Muay Thai, if you go 100%, you're going to hurt your partner, you're going to knock someone out. In Jiu-Jitsu, you can go full force, that's fine. Just make sure you tap. So that moves on to the next point, tapping. So what is tapping? Tapping means you won. You pretty much won the rolling. So when you do roll and you feel any pain, they get you in a submission, you tap. Make sure you always tap on your partner. Try not to tap on the ground, tap on your partner. If you can't tap, you say tap. Okay, always tap. Safety is key. So yeah. Oh yes, also, this isn't really explained. When you start the wrestle, there's like an international signal. Doesn't matter which club you train at, worldwide, everyone does the same thing. You slap hands, then you fist bump. That signifies the start of the roll. Go anywhere in the world, every club, they all do that. And you also end the roll, same thing. Slap, fist bump. Alright, that's pretty much it. And the last point I want to make is check your ego at the door. So this was actually our old school's motto, check your ego at the door. You don't want to come in and think you're the king and try hurt everyone, because you're probably going to get hurt yourself. Because Jiu-Jitsu is very knowledge-based, as is your first class. If you're just starting off, you don't know anything, I suggest you check your ego at the door and just be ready to learn and also have fun. Because Jiu-Jitsu is probably one of the most enjoyable things in many people's lives. Just have fun. So that concludes my tips if you're just starting off or you're about to come to your first class. See you on the mats.